Call a meeting to order for the Ponca School Board, Monday, April the 13th, 2025. Yeah, let's try 19. Show your age. Flag salute, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the joy of recent holidays and the time spent with family and loved ones. As we begin this new year, we thank you for the opportunity to welcome our students back to a place of learning and growth. Bless our Board of Education as each member continues to serve our school community that fosters unity, health, and success. Grant us wisdom, patience, and guidance as we work together to nurture each child's potential. Amen.
roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed, here. Anna Rowland, Judy Troop, here. Robin Riley,
Here.
John Newsom.
Here. Thank you. Presentations and recognitions. First one is going to be special presentation to the board members and appreciation for their years of service.
All right,
Thank you.
all the years. So this is a National School Board Appreciation Month to our wonderful locally elected Board of Education, the best that Ponca City has. They have voted them into each of these seats to represent different segments of our communication or different segments of our community, and each of you have a big job. And I really appreciate our principals. Each year we ask them to take a moment and talk to our kids and talk to our staffs about what our Board of Education does. And you can see across the room, different classes have made posters and got little goodie bags. It's whatever site does, it's all unique to them. But I think it's an awesome opportunity to appreciate you all, and two, to thank you, because as we know, the pay as being a board member is not as high as you'd like it to be. You know, anything north of $1, we're not going to do. So you guys do this a lot of grief. Don't even get $1. So you get a lot of phone calls from me and my team and from the community. But there are 4,500 students that thank you for what you do. I have a few thank yous. If you haven't, each of your tables has some thank yous, but there's a general table here that looked like it was just general for the Board of Education. One of them I wanted to point out, or a few of them, if you will. Miss Reese's kindergarten class at Liberty. Miss Reese said, dear board members, I wanted to say thank you for your devoted public service. Ponca City Public Schools is blessed to have people who truly care about kids and learning. And then one of the kids in Mrs. Reese's class in this book said, thank you for helping me learn. You are amazing and I love you. So, and this is a book just full of kindergartners saying thank you for helping me, and that's pretty special. This is from Denver at Woodlands, and he says, thank you, Board of Education, for the donations and all you do for us. Another one, thanks School Board. Let's see who this one was from. This was a good one. This is from Lucy, and she even has it enunciated so you know how to pronounce it, Lucy. She's got it phonetically spelled. So it says, dear School Board, thank you for keeping the school in business. For example, I have a great teacher, and I love the place's appearance. Your good pal, Lucy, at Woodlands. So, which I think there's great recognitions in all of these, and I know that each of our kids and administrators and teachers thank the board for what they do. But I did want to introduce each board member. Our first board member here is Robin Riley, who represents Board 1. Hold on here. Mr. Riley's currently the board vice president, and he's a retired Conoco employee and was appointed in 2012 when there was a midterm opening on the board. Was it a 5-0 vote or was it a 3-2 vote to get you on the board?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Robin is a PCPS graduate and spends many hours learning, reviewing, discussing, and asking questions. True. Regarding all areas to ensure that school officials continually grow and improve as a district. It is obvious in my time that I've been back with PCPS since 21 that he has the best interest of the district and the students as his main goal. And a fun fact about Robin Riley that the community may not know, and I'm going to tell this story, if that's all right. But Robin Riley may have been the instrumental piece for getting Johnny Bench recognized as the future Hall of Fame baseball player. That it was, I think after the second grand slam he hit off of Mr. Riley, Robin said he was not going to give up the third grand slam and took himself out of the game. So to this day, he's ever hit 3 grand slams in one game. So thank you for your service, Robin. We appreciate you. Our next board member I want to recognize is Nancy Zimmersheet from Ward 2. She represents more of the western side of the community. She's a former Wildcat, and each of her children have graduated as Wildcats, all 3 of them. There's not any missing ones that we don't know about? Okay. Not only are her students, or her children, I call them students, a former exceptional athlete, but Nancy herself was a former exceptional student athlete, excelling on the field and in the classroom. Nancy serves on our Board of Education curriculum meeting and also as our activity fund committee as well, where she helps plan new and innovative programs and ensures teachers have the right tools to help kids succeed in the classroom. She also works at Jupiter Sulphur here in town and brings a unique parent and business perspective to our school district. Nancy's very attention to making sure that every kid has an equal shot at opportunity, and that educational opportunity should be available to anyone that walks through our doors. So thank you, Nancy, for what you do for our school board. Miss Judy Troop. Judy is a retired, longtime PCPS teacher who used to teach at Lincoln Elementary and was elected to the board in 2004, representing Ward 3. She's also a Bohai grad and has grandchildren attending in the district. Ask me how I know. Because I know Gracie and Jackson have happened to also be in my children's grades. So very, very easy to share some of the same interests that her grandchildren, my own children share. She also serves on the curriculum committee and has been the board president twice for the Ponca City Public Schools. One special note with Ms. Troop, that not only does she serve the children of Ponca City, but she also helps the public school children of Oklahoma with her leadership on the Oklahoma State School Board Association. She's been elected as the OSSBA Region 3 Director, so that's a statewide position, serving Garfield, Grant, Kay, Noble, Pawnee, and Payne counties. So she didn't have enough Ponca City Wildcats, so she got all these other schools thrown in there too. So Judy's perspective as a former educator makes her an invaluable member of this board because she understands the work that teachers do in the classroom. She understands the importance of learning and teaching processes, and she strives to improve all aspects of student learning. Judy has captured the hearts of Ponca City voters in several past elections and currently represents Ward 3, so thank you, Ms. True. Anna Rowland represents Ward 4, who is also a former teacher and now a higher ed employee. We call those the dark side in public ed. I can say that because I was former higher ed back, so it's fun to poke fun of our higher ed colleagues. She, fun fact about Anna, has joined the board in February of 2021. Fun fact about Anna is that she beat me out of that position because I had thrown my name into the ring to volunteer on the board. And to this day, this is the first time the board voted me out. Hopefully that's the last time they ever vote me out. I'm still not bitter about that either.
I'm glad it went the way that it did, because I'm glad I'm not doing what you're doing.
Anna was very active with the Association of Classroom Teachers during her time working for the school district, serving as a delegate, building representative, and president of our local teachers union. Anna brings a wealth of classroom experience and hunger to ask questions and learn more about the district's processes, programs, and outcomes for its students. Anna herself is a former Wildcat and works tirelessly to ensure her children and the children of Ponca City have the best education possible. So thank you, Anna. Last, and certainly not least, is Don Newsom, who represents Ward 5. He is the longest standing board member since 1999, and I call him a short timer because he chose not to re-up and run again. He is ending his term on a high note. His last meeting will be this March. Don is the manager of the Ponca City Airport. He has served as the president of this board 14 different times and serves on the board's finance and property committees, where he oversees the budgets and oversees our spending, and oversees our facilities and bond projects and maintenance and transportation and child nutrition, all that good stuff that makes school run. Mr. Newsom is the past recipient of the OSSBA Platinum Excellence Award, which is designed to recognize the time and commitment made by board members in continuing their education beyond the legal requirements. Don has not only served on a 5-person board, he served on a 7-person board. He has run, I used to always say 5 elections because I just assumed it was always a 5-person board, but he told me nope, he's had to run elections several different times on top of that. So he's seen Ponca City in all of its different phases, and as it's evolved over the last 25 years in his service, 26 years in his service on the Board of Education, has seen Ponca City have its ups and downs, and hopefully we're on a very big upswing right now. Don works very diligently to best serve the students in the district, and this will, like I said, be Don's last term on the board, as we will have an election on April 1st for his replacement. But since 1999, Ponca City Public Schools has enjoyed a long-term commitment to stability and order on our Board of Education, and staff and are very appreciative of that. I've seen a number of communities that have ups and downs and a split when their board is not a united one. But I believe Don Newsom, being on the board since 1999, has really helped usher in that change. So thank you, Don, for your leadership. You will be missed. So can I get a round of applause for our Board of... You can give a speech, Don, if you want.
No speech.
Okay.
Thank you. Next one will be presentation of the Employee of the Month and Friend of Education Award. First one will be our Certified Employee of the Month, Taylor Mendenhall, speech language practitioner, West Middle School. Come on, come on.
So as he said, this is Taylor Mendenhall. She's my speech path at West. Taylor Mendenhall has been nominated as the PCPS Certified Employee of the Month for January 2025. Taylor goes above and beyond for her students and her co-workers at West Middle School. She is full of great ideas and is always looking for ways to help others and make others smile. She is always positive and is unfailingly kind and patient with her students, even on the hard days. That is so true. Taylor is a joy to work with and makes West a better place. Honestly, you do. We're so thankful she's part of our West Middle School family.
Thank you. The next one will be support of the month, Jim Payne, bus driver, transportation.
Oh.
Jim Payne started in the Transportation Department in 2013. He goes above and beyond his job title. When transportation is short of either mechanics or driver, Jim steps right in and fills the buses and drives routes. He started coming in early to make sure things are covered and ready to go for the day. After AM routes, he makes sure everyone's buses filled up, and helps other drivers with anything they need with their buses. For the last years, Jim has stepped up to the plate as the main and only sub-driver for transportation. He also picks up the slack for activities. If he didn't do this, some of the activities might not get to go. Jim is the only driver who knows all the routes and can answer the phone calls as well. This year, Jim also drives a PM route. Jim has taken on the responsibility of assisting in training new bus drivers to get their CDLs. Jim works with new drivers on both of their pre and post-trip inspection, bus maneuvers, 15 student pickup and drop-offs, and learning the routes after they pass the test. Jim also spent most of Thanksgiving helping 2 of our drivers try to pass their CDL test. The Transportation Department and PCPS are very appreciative of Jim, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Last is Friends of Education, April 9th. Volunteer, Todd Owen.
Hello. Elizabeth Andrew, an American author, said volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. Right here. Ms. Knight has a heart for the teachers and students at Trout Elementary. She works with students in first grade and fourth grade twice a week. She can be seen in our halls working with individual students or small groups on reading, math, you name it, she'll do it. Our students are excited to spend time with her because of her caring and positive attitude. She's just full of love and we love you know that.
I love being there.
Oh, Mrs. Knight has 2 students who attend our school. Emerson is in Mrs. Pratt's class, and Amelia is in Miss Bailey's class. Ponca City Public Schools is recognizing Miss Knight's contributions this month by awarding her with the January Friend of Education Award. We are thankful for you.
All right.
Okay.
Can I get those pictures taken? Next one will be some public comment. We don't have any tonight, so we're going to go over the superintendent's report.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Smile fast.
Well, we have some cool stuff going on. You guys are welcome to stay and listen to it.
I bet.
It's gonna be over the top. Good stuff.
Wow, Adam.
I can't hold the crowd. It's like no future or kids' education, but all right, I'll talk about it. Board of Education. This is what happens when I have too much time on my hand over Thanksgiving break. One of the ideas I had over Thanksgiving break was I really wanted to know how our sites were doing with all of the different projects and programs and data and all that we're doing as a district. So one of the ideas I had, I kind of threw it out, was we're going to come down, our central office team, and visit with our principals, and the principals are going to present on data. And it was pretty open-ended. What's important in your site? Is it test scores? Is it attendance? Is it discipline? Is it our teacher walkthroughs, evaluation model, testing scores, all that. Just so principals have an opportunity to do it. I did do a directive, and I was kind of worried about this, was I wanted them to not only present on one, but I wanted them to attend one others. So I wanted them to go see another site and listen to their data presentation. So in all, we had 12 different site data reviews in those 15 days between Thanksgiving and Christmas break with each of our building level administrations. And then we had in attendance the principals obviously leading it. If they had an instructional coach, they were there, which all sites do except the East. Our directors, myself, and we even had some teacher leaders that wanted to participate and step in. Either some that were working on their master's degree, others that just have a general interest in administration or leadership, or just what were we doing? And they were just kind of curious, and they were more than welcome to attend. So we did this at the conclusion of the fall semester, and what's the result? So I was going to have this big flashy document, but it's not ready yet. But it's really not a big thing, because I think a few things that we came away from with the district was some things that kind of bubbles to the top. One, rigor level in our district, in our classrooms. I felt like what we were expecting the kids to learn off of Oklahoma standards, we're not teaching at that high or deep enough level. That we're not pushing kids hard enough at that. Now, with pushing kids and teaching at a higher level comes relationships, because if you're pushing without relationships, there's a word for that, and that's called being a jerk. So we're going to build, we still have relationships and working with people that way. But the Oklahoma academic standards are really playing out there, that kids will evaluate, or they will analyze, or they will compare and contrast. And if we're not teaching to those levels, if we're asking them to complete a multiple choice deal or circle the best fit, then we're not getting to those levels. So we've talked about that as district administration. How do we help our instructional coaches and our principals get there? Another thing that we came out with was through our evaluation tools that we've invested a ton of money in, not only as a district, but as a state. Are we using those effectively when we're coming in and doing walkthroughs? Are we doing enough walkthroughs? Are we providing feedback after we do a walkthrough? Are we identifying, are we being academic leaders as building principals when we get into those buildings? So some of those things, what we've been doing as directors has been discussing. We have a shared Google Doc where we type in kind of some things that we've seen at each site. What we will do with this document, like I said in my superintendent emails, is we will disseminate those in each individual site, but you as the board will get an overview of higher level district things that we felt like kind of popped up to the top on this. One thing I learned about this that kind of surprised me was the challenge to the principals that they had to attend one other. I thought in 15 days, they're gonna see this as, you know, heavy hand from the district, and they're just mowing one more thing, and I've got holiday parties and fall benchmark testing and what else. By the end of this, I had 4 or 5 principals attending every single one because there was such a hunger to learn what other sites were doing, how they were implementing different strategies, what they were presenting on, what was working in one building that they could steal and use in their building. So really kind of reinforce that we have a hungry staff that's really very collaborative and wants to work and rip off and duplicate what others are doing at other sites. So I think maybe that was probably a post-COVID thing, that we kind of got more isolated and not used to that, getting out there and working with one another. So I think that was a really powerful thing that we got from that. We'll have all the principals in for the first time since this district-wide data review tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about what they experienced and felt as a group. So we want to do this again in the spring, right before we break out for the summer. Is, well, okay, what we learned about in our fall data reviews, did we get those put into motion, and how did we do over the spring semester? So just want to let you know that took place over the last 15 days. Any questions about that?
How often, so they aren't doing district PLCs anymore together? Like where they get like all 4th grades together, so you said it kind of went away?
Teachers are doing district PLCs. This was building principals getting together and
Oh,
talking
okay.
and meeting and
I
discussing.
guess I just kind of always assumed that was happening.
Yeah. Well, we have our monthly ad council, but it's mostly more of, here's the
Dissemination.
new law, here's the new policy, here's the new federal report we have to complete. This is the other bureaucratic red tape we've got to get done. And it's sometimes, you know, you get a lot when you can talk about transportation, child nutrition, Title IX, and, you know, just curriculum, elementary, secondary, human resources stuff. By the time we get through all that, there's not really a lot of good time to talk about what's happening in the classrooms and how are we making instruction more
It's different
effective.
being in the building too.
Yeah.
And did you say that the shared Google thing is going to be shared with us too, or you'll just?
It will be, I mean, right now it's pretty raw. I wouldn't share it with anyone. I mean, there's lots of typos and maybe more feelings instead of data. So we want to make sure that what we share is something that can be measurable and something that we can see plans to implement. It's one thing to say, I feel like there's an issue here, but if I can say, yeah, 3rd grade test results have historically declined in this subject area, that's something we can put in a plan in place to address. So things like that will be shared with.
Last question.
Yeah.
You said I did ask questions and I did ask them. Are you still using Marzano for PLE?
We are using Marzano, and that was one of the things we talked about. It's a the Marzano teacher evaluation model is research-backed. It's got, if it's used properly and used as a tool for growth and improvement, it's a phenomenal resource. And this district has invested a lot of time in that and training in it. I think it's one, prioritizing that you got to get into those classrooms and move out of this mindset of going from fire to fire and thinking more about being intentional about long-term planning and what's going to be the most meaningful for student success. And that's going to be getting into classrooms and giving feedback on what you're seeing and how kids are learning and growing.
I'm sure it is probably easier now that we're kind of pulling out of all that COVID slump and all this stuff and feeling like we're in survival mode and getting from one to the next.
Right.
Appreciate all the work that everybody's doing to make it.
Yeah, it's good. I had my first site, I went to Union on Wednesday last week, that's not Wednesday, it's Monday this week, all Mondays are together. But to talk a little bit about this and that you know, that we're not trying to come in hand-in-hand, we want to look at our scores and look at how our sites are doing, and we want to be the best school district. And we're never going to get there, but we can always take steps to move in that direction. Because there's never a best school. If there's a best school in this county, then you want to be the best school in the state. And if you're the best school in the state, you want to be the best school in the region, 3-state region. And then you want to be the best school. So that's why I mean you'll never get there, because you're always going to. We just want to adopt that mindset of being a growth mindset. We want to always be better each day. So, and that's what we want our staff to feel, our kids to feel. So I just thought that was a very big investment of time for our directors and our administrative teams to get into the schools at that time. All right, total state revenue picture. You guys just seem to be aware of this. This is where our tax collection, the Board of Equalization met in December. That's a preliminary one. They will have their final one in February. These are basically the state treasurer's tax receipts. This is how much money the state of Oklahoma is collected. And you can see the couple of big ones down. Sales tax down $104 million, 4%. Any idea on why sales tax is so deep?
Groceries.
Grocery sales tax, largest largest tax cut in history last year, and they were estimating, I can't remember, I think they estimated about $105 or $150 million hit there, so it's actually a little under what their estimate was on the grocery sales tax, but tax cuts have repercussions, and as an agency that runs off the taxes and revenue, this is what I feel like I need to educate our public on that. So you see a sales tax cut there. Gross production tax also down quite a bit, 16%. I'm encouraged in the last few months that oil prices are making a rebound. Gas prices, natural gas prices are high right now, about $4.13. So they've actually increased over the last 4 months, but gross production tax on oil is down 16%, you can see there. We've got some, I think it's gonna make a rebound over the next year, but gross production tax follows kind of the economy, and people aren't driving and traveling, and business isn't growing, and that takes a hit. But you can see there at the bottom, they're estimating a little less than 13 million. Now all these are mostly estimates right now, and there was some issue taken with a few people at the Board of Equalization, kind of making it more political, that one said they don't trust these numbers, and it would be very unwise to advocate for an income tax cut at this time. One of the things that the Board of Equalization recommended was a flat state budget this year, or a possible 1% decline. So there will be, what that means is no new money. So if they want to add any new programs, they're gonna have to cut somewhere to add that, or do that. We do have more than $4 billion in our savings accounts, in various savings accounts, rainy day fund, general revenue stabilization fund, all of these different savings accounts. So there's some legislators that are thinking we can tap into that or should tap into that. I say wait until we are in a really deep crisis when that will happen. But like I said, they will finalize these numbers in February. What they do with these numbers is that's the numbers the governor will use when he does his State of the State address for his state budgets. And I fully anticipate the state income tax being number one priority for the administration, again, as it was last year. So as a public school superintendent who's here to advocate for public school kids, and we operate off of taxes, that we would be very unwise to consider that. But I just want to make certain that any tax cuts aren't on the backs of kids and children in the state. So I worked to shape that. Mid-year allocation. We did receive our mid-year allocation. It was up about $111,973, which everyone wants to say, woohoo, that's great news that it was up. But as superintendents, we have to look at more of a 12-month picture. And I wanted to compare what our midterm was a year ago at this time and what our initial allocation was a year ago at this time. So you can see there in the red, what I was fearful of was our enrollment decline in October 1. It does have some impact to our budget. So over the last 12 months, we are down about 375 in state revenue. And that's just based on mostly our enrollment decline from October 1 there. The good thing about the mid-year allocation is district administration and through our Power School have been trying to do more data cleanup and making sure that we are identifying kids that qualify for special programs. So where you see that increase is actually a testament to the work of our support staff and administration to make certain that kids that qualify for free and reduced lunch are getting those applications turned in, or kids that are bilingual or ELL, or they qualify for some special designation in the formula that the school district receives that funding for it. But year over year, we are cognizant of that reduction in state funds, and I think we've taken appropriate measures through finance and human resources on addressing this and being able to absorb that by some key tough decisions that we have to make. So, any questions there? Cold weather, this is mostly for the community, Callie, not for the board cleaning all this, but I always say it in January, that cold national weather patterns happen and we'll have our inclement weather here. Our goal is always to make a decision by 6 a.m. Most times we do it at 5 a.m. On Thursday of last week, we did it the day before. We just knew that the weather was not going to improve. And so we want to make that call as soon as possible to help parents have to make plans if they need to. If we do open, because the roads are clear and we can get kids into school and our buildings have heat, we try to open those buildings at 7 a.m. as early as possible to get those kids in. I had one person call and upset that they couldn't, or they were upset they had to drop the kids off at 6:30, and I certainly understand that that's a predicament, but we try to make those decisions to give them enough time to plan and coordinate, and I just don't have someone at 6:30 that I can get up there to get those kids in. So, but we do have warm areas that we try to get them around and get them in as soon as we humanly possibly can. So, because a lot of our teachers and staff and principals have families of their own that they're trying to get ushered around and the places, but we do try to make it important to serve our community and our students. And we want to do distance learning if we can, if it's possible, so that one, if we ever have to pivot to distance learning because there's a flood at a site or a building, God forbid, burns down or blows over, that we know how to do that. And so, well, I promise we won't do that every time, but we haven't done one since 2022 in this district, so I felt like it was important that we were prepared for it. Our kids were prepared, our teachers were prepared, and we got that out, and they did a phenomenal job with distance learning. But our commitment, I know a lot of people watch that, especially like the officials right now. That's kind of a talk down at the capitals. How many of the schools are actually doing distance learning, or are they saying it's distance learning and just counting as a school day so they don't have to do anything? So that's kind of the reason for the distance learning day. Upcoming key dates in the next, before we meet again. You'll read a lot of articles about different bills that are going to be introduced before January 18th. That's the last that they can introduce a bill. There's already some articles out there talking about some different priorities the legislature's identified early on. Power School Text Opt-in Day is January 20th. This is important for parents of our community that we are going to make some registration changes from this summer, where we've always done registration in the summer. We're going to try to kick that up into the school year in the spring. As a parent, well, as a superintendent, but then as a parent, it really didn't make sense to me when I was picking my kids' classes or helping my child identify the classes they needed for the next year in March and April. And then the school called them July 1 and said, we need to register your kids so we know they're coming back. So if I'm coming back and I'm picking classes, let's register them at the same time, and let's just count on them being there. So I think for 80% of our families, that'll be a good service, and we'll still have the registration center open, but it should move a lot of that to the spring for our parents to get that done. It should be a service to the community. With any changes, there's going to be some bumps in the road, as we identify, but we are reading and working on trying to identify any wrinkles in that would cause hiccups and try to eliminate those. So, but we'll walk through that and iron out the wrinkles as we go on it. Legislative Kickoff Conference is in Oklahoma City for COSA. That's on the 22nd and 23rd. Governor Drummond's going to be there, which makes more sense on why he signed up to present after today's announcement, when he announced today where he's running for governor. And we'll have other key state leaders. Our Speaker of the House, Kyle Hilbert, will be there. Chuck Perry, the Senate Appropriations Chair, will be there. He's from Perry from America, so it'll be good to have them there in the same room and hear kind of what their issues with education are moving forward. MTSS training will be the 24th. You can see the team there we're taking. This MTSS stands for Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. This is a statewide model that all schools will have to comply with before 2029. So it's a big deal, and it's going to be a lot of moving pieces over the next several years. So the state has a training on the 24th, and we are taking a small team over there to dip our toes in that water. Then the legislative session begins February 3rd. I messed up signing day. I think that's supposed to be February 5th. We are shifted up signing day at the high school. We kind of identified an issue last year where we were doing signings nearly weekly or multiple times a week, where kids were leaving at 1 to take pictures and do a big deal. And now we're just going to do it all together at the high school. We're going to invite them all to the Robson and do it from 1 to 3:30, and what a lot of other 6As do in Oklahoma, and recognize all those students.
So like soccer doesn't get over, maybe it's still
Right, so good point. So we're gonna have another one
Okay,
in May.
Sorry.
This February 3rd or 5th is the National Signing Day.
Okay.
So we're gonna match what Norman and Edmond and other schools do, and if we have any higher ed athletes that want to compete and have signed, we'll recognize them. We've talked about how we can also, if kids are committed to going to career tech or joining the workforce, how do we recognize them and make it kind of a fun, just celebrate the seniors. What are you gonna do after you graduate? And if they don't have plans, maybe that starts planting the seed, like, oh my gosh, I better figure something out before the next one in May. So we'll see how it goes. A group of parents brought this idea to us and brought us some other stuff, and our athletic director and high school principal thought it seemed like a good idea, and it kept kids in classes more, so I like that, and we'll run with it. And then, believe it or not, your superintendent was asked to present to OSSBA for new superintendents on the art of communication and positivity. So, I will be talking and teaching on February 4th because I'm a master of it apparently. So, I wondered if they drew the sword, like if they were scraping the bottom of the barrel. But
I recommend you for that.
oh, thank you.
No,
Dang it, I was almost like excited. Amber Fitzgerald reached out, and she's like the master communicator in Oklahoma. And she asked if I would, it's me and the superintendent from Clinton, Tyler Bridges, so excited and off. I really thought it would be a great opportunity to do it, and I was really touched, so I will be doing that. And lastly, I talked about this. We hosted Leadership Ponca City last week on Wednesday. For Education Day. It's not just the Ponca, this is an old picture, and Shelley didn't have me into it. This was last year's picture, so Amy's in that picture. But our challenge is not only just to present on Ponca City, it's just educational opportunities in our community. And Ponca City citizens are really lucky that they have access to a 6A school district, their own higher education institution that they can get all the way from associates to a master's degree in town, or a wonderful junior college in Ponca, and one of the best career techs in the state of Oklahoma, all right here. So we got an opportunity to talk to them and show them around. We even invited our private school partners to talk about their opportunities, and they got to talk about their educational savings accounts, and we had a good dialogue on the pros and cons of that, and I got to represent the public school side of it, and we left it very professional, and I clearly won, but I've done my thinking score. Yeah, but no, it was an awesome opportunity, and it's really neat because we get people that are from Ponca City or that are moved in that work in different businesses or nonprofits or government sectors, and 24 of them. Don, how many years have you done it, driving them and being involved in that group?
92.
Oh my gosh! So. And Don really touched me when Don said I was the best education chair he's ever seen since '92. So I appreciate that, Don. Thank you for saying that. You guys don't believe that. No, it's a good opportunity. I really appreciate the chamber letting Ponca City schools. And Lori Graham, helps. She rolls out the red carpet for them too. And Chef Jeff made a breakfast and an opportunity to talk about his program and what we do there. We got to tour the new STEM facility and the indoor facility and see the new field. And they were blown away with everything. At the end of the day, they have aha moments. And I think 75% of them said they could not believe all the stuff the schools are in charge of and have to manage. All the way from stormwater retention to federal programs and special services and IEPs and English language learners and discipline and serving the community and a diverse group of learners. So I think it's a great opportunity to try to just open people's eyes to the work we do. And each of our directors had to present this year, and I rushed them, and they did a good job still, and I put them on the spot. I think it's important that they see those people as well, get them up front. Any questions for me? That was 3 minutes gone, sorry.
Thank you. Next item will be the consent agenda. Motion required for the approval of the consent agenda as printed or as amended. Board members may, however, call for a separate vote on any or all items listed on the consent agenda. Minutes of December 9th, 2024. Board meeting, contracts, motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Judy. You have a second? Robin, second?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Robin. Any other discussion, roll call?
Judy Truitt, Anna Roland, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed, Don Newsom,
All right. Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be action items. Consider take action on the following district's financial reports. We have a good report. Dave, Robin, and I. I'd like a motion to approve.
I move to approve item 1, items A through M.
Second by Judy. All right. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed, Robin Riley,
Aye.
Anna Roland, Don Newsom,
Aye.
Judy Truitt,
Next item will be 2, consider and take action to approve the revised district's gifted education plan. A motion to approve this item.
I will make a motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you all.
It was presented in that curriculum committee, explained really well.
No discussion? No call?
Yeah, I've got a.
Oh, yes.
I've got one question, I
Okay.
guess it'd be of Amy. What is the budget for the gifted plan?
Each site, there's an amount allocation for the district, and then each site is designated a specific amount based on the number of kids identified at that site.
Based on what?
Number of kids identified.
Number of students, I did.
But did you, have you got an estimate of what the total expense would be?
Do you know what that is, Erica?
I'm
Per
sorry.
kid.
Per kid?
Isn't it, the formula is based off of?
The one that we multiply by.
500 or
You know that.
50,000?
Oh, the total amount for the entire gifted
Right.
budget is around 300,000 to 500,000, in that range.
How much?
300,000 to 500,000 for the, once you include all the salaries and all the events and everything, the entire budget is around 300,000
For
to
the gifted and
500,000. For the
talented.
gifted and talented. That's not the amount that we allocate to the individual sites, because that doesn't include payrolls and other things like that. The amount that they get for trips is based upon how many are identified.
So for
Like at the
Liberty,
at the elementary level, I think it's $1,200 plus $20 per identified kid at the site. Middle school and high school are, I think,
8,000
$1,000
to 10,000.
yeah,
per grade
it's,
level.
yeah, exactly right. 1,200 for each site, $20 per child on top of that.
Okay.
It's part of the 300,000 to 500,000.
That's part of that, yeah, it's a small piece of it. That's the amount they get to go on like field trips
6 of them would be
and do.
72.
When you said salaries for who?
Teachers?
The
Some
stipend
teachers,
that
some
they
Some of
get?
the
counselors
teachers are
that do like
identified.
guidance.
Yes,
Pardon? What'd you say?
sorry.
Yeah. I'm here.
Well, it's hard time hearing you.
Yeah. they're hard to hear.
Part of that budget is sent to the sites for them to use as part of their plan for projects, planning and things like that. The rest of it is used for salaries of, partial salaries like our counselors when they're, working with them on guidance lessons or, choosing classes, working on their ICAP, things like that. I think there are some other kind of positions that are more, tied in with, gifted, that part of their salary comes from that funding as well.
What would that be? What, like, do we have anybody, like used to, we used to have 2 people for elementary. We don't do that
They
anymore.
don't, no, not
Okay.
since 2015.
Gifted
Yeah.
teachers. So are you talking 10, 15,000 total budget?
At the sites,
No, total, for all the sites combined. You said it was $1,200 per site, plus $3 a kid.
elementary sites, $1,200 plus $20 per identified child at that site, and then 6th through 12th grade is $1,000 per grade level at that site, so like 2,000 to, or no, maybe it's 2,000 per grade level.
And that all
Secondary is based on the grade level, because they can also use that on curriculum.
Okay, so yeah, she was right, 2,000 per grade.
If there are teachers, like, if there's there's, say I'm a teacher at a site and I'm doing after-school academies, I'm doing projects. If I'm being paid extra duty, it's at $27.60 per hour up to a certain number of hours, and that comes out of the site's
Okay.
budget that they have.
That comes out at $1,220 per job. And all that, I mean, all the sites, that equals 300,000 or 500,000. Is that what it,
No, it'd be closer to 10, but it's okay.
10?
10,000.
No, that's more than that.
Yeah.
Well, it's 1,200 a side.
Because the whole budget, they said, is
Right.
300 to 500,000.
The 1,200 and then $1,000 per site does not include, that is out of, and then the remainder of the budget for that is spent on salaries.
Wait a minute. We're not spending $300,000 to $500,000 on gifted programs.
The
No.
numbers I'm seeing here are about 60,000.
I was gonna say, we
But,
don't have that many
but
kids.
there may be
in the gifted.
additional salaries I don't have coded on
The
here.
gifted funding also with that, well, that is, what you're seeing on there, Adam, is what's allocated to the site specifically. Gifted funding is more broad in how it can be spent. Some of it's spent on, I think like transportation to orchestra, events, some other major, things like that that are one way that we serve a lot of our kids, especially at the secondary level. Some of their AP programming, their, orchestra, their things that they may have auditioned for, to be able to do can fall under the gifted umbrella.
Okay, let me ask them a different way. How many kids do we have in the gifted program?
400, that's what I gave out last week.
Yeah, they talked
I
about
would
the
say-
curriculum, I don't have it with me.
So we're spending $1,000 a kid?
No.
Well, that's,
Gifted,
No. What we can do is we can get you a report of every expenditure.
I'm hearing 400,000 to 500,000, 300 to 500,000.
I would be surprised if it's that high.
That would be $1,000 a student.
But I've been wrong before, so.
I mean, that seems a little steep.
also
Let's,
they can find
let's have her get it, they
Yeah.
can get a report back to us.
Yeah.
Well, we presented all that in curriculum, we just didn't have it with us tonight, we'll have it, that's my bad, I'll have it for next time.
Yeah, first time I've seen it.
Just send it out to us.
Okay.
Any change, what this item is just approving verbiage changes to the gifted plan itself, which is taking out, like, the old plan used to have that expenditures were due by certain dates, and those dates changed. Some of them aren't even applicable anymore at the state level. And then, the major change, I guess, impacting, what would impact students is that we added the project-based learning, being a required component, and then also adding in an optional, component could be summer academies and things utilizing the STEM, buildings. So that's something that's already been discussed, for having things offered all at once.
I think you're right, Don. I think we need to see a total number of students and total cost for the whole thing.
Dawn, I have a question.
Yes.
For gifted and talented funds, is it similar in the way that the Title I funds, we receive them and then it can be distributed, however, among the sites, as long as it's servicing in that
Correct.
list of areas? So this GT funding would be very similar in that way, that it could be used in a broad way, like you were saying, for some of those things. Or maybe, okay.
Well, for example, if we were purchasing something specific to an AP program or to orchestra or something like that, there are kids who we serve in that capacity. That does not mean that every child in those programs is identified as gifted. But we can still use those funds to serve any students in those programs.
All right, thanks for helping me.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Do you have the motions?
No, we have the motion.
Yeah. Okay.
Roll call.
Anna Roland,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Judy Truitt, Don Newsom, Nancy Zimmershed.
Pass. Thank you. Next one will be 3, consider and take action to approve the sudden cardiac emergency response plans for the district's elementary schools.
I make a motion.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Any other discussion? None, roll call.
Judy Truitt, Don Newsom,
Aye.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed, Anna Roland.
Aye.
Right, thank you. Motion passed. Number 4, consider and take action on the following contract agreements. A is the agreement with the Soft Choice Microsoft licensing. B is the agreement with Stonehan Wells Group for electrical work. C is the quote from Stonehan Wells Group for replacing the district seat exchangers. D is the quote from Tierra Trafera with the Chromebooks. And I forgot to, not on this item, it's a state contract. Cost. And then, E is the quote from Vance Country Ford for a 2025 Ford crew cab. Like a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve it because we discussed every one of these items in property meeting finance.
Yes, we did.
We beat them all to death.
Yeah, we did, every one of them.
Alderman seconded, is
Thank you.
also talked about it.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Anna Roland.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passed. Number 5 is motion and vote to convene in executive session for the following purposes: to discuss the possible termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of the personnel on the as detailed personnel report. Discuss superintendent of schools contract, discuss employment of the superintendent, to discuss negotiations, to discuss the purchase and appraisal of real property. I'd like a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
First and second down there. Roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Anna Roland. Judy Truitt.
We're in executive session. Let's return to open session. Minutes of the executive session was kept by the board minute clerk and remain confidential. Number 8 is consider and take action on the renewal of the contract or a new contract for the superintendent of schools.
Dawn, I'd like to make a motion to renew Adam, the superintendent's contract for $195,000 base salary for a 3-year term.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? None, roll call.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item will be consider and take action, this is number 9, consider and take action on the recommendations for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel. Do you have a motion to approve this item?
Make a motion.
Nancy, do you have a second?
I'll second.
Judy? Any other on personnel? None, roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye. Motion passed, thank you. No new business, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do you have a second? Do you have a roll call? Real quick.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Keep it going, Judy.
Motion passed, let's go. Adjourn, thank you.
I have a thought.